man, so we got the new Hidden Inventory DLC, and with that, we also got a new update for Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash, changing some things like, some UI things and also some things to the character. And we kind of talked about in the last video, like going to the actual website, but we're actually going to show y'all some videos and actually give y'all our thoughts on it, man. But today's anime question is basically going to be, which character do you think came out of this update the best? Getting, some of the best upgrades to make them a better character, man. But yeah, man, if this is something you think you might be interested in, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell, do all those nice things. And we're going to give you our best person as we're going through the characters. But let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so when we talk about the first thing is some things they did with the UI and just how things look. They added like some new things where you can actually change the theme of the main screen. I know some people don't like how it has like, the actual anime scenes, but they made it now where you can change it to the Hidden Inventory theme, and it also has music for it. And they also just added some better looking things whenever you're doing free battle to make it look better whenever you're choosing your character. They also added descriptions for each different game mode on the main screen as well. They added some new titles, some new outfits, and just a bunch of different things as well as that. They also added a little thing where you can actually play the custom voice whenever you're trying to change out the extraction techniques and things that you get, and you can actually hear it, which is pretty good. Just a lot of things just to make the UI better. And they also added the Hidden Inventory story to the actual story mode where you gotta pay for the DLC to actually be able to use this. So when we talk about the characters, one of the first characters they worked with was Yuji Itadori, and basically they just made it, this is something they did with basically all the characters, is they made their combo strikes deal less damage. So if you're guarding and you get hit with any type of combo curse technique, the last hit isn't going to do as much damage as it used to do. Also, what they did with Megumi, they basically made it where his combos are easier to form in. So basically if you're coming with a double spinning kick or any of his extraction techniques, you can follow up with the Toad and continue your combos, because they've also knocked down the combo value to where you can actually make your combos longer. They basically just made it where Megumi can actually do his combos better, and especially when you're using the Toad, both of the abilities with the Toad. And they also did some adjustments to make his Shikigami take more cursed energy from him, so you're not going to be able to use his Shikigami as long because of the amount of cursed energy it's going to take. With Nobara, the main thing they did with her is they extended the range of her Nail Barrage, where it basically can go a little bit farther, and also they also nerfed her Big Scream a little bit, making it where the moving speed isn't as much and you can't go as far. But I didn't see too many differences with this one, but one of the biggest nerfs was what they did with the Straw Doll technique, basically making it whenever you do the hairpin, it's going to put them in an invincible state. So when you get that damage from the hairpin, your enemy is going to fall to the ground and you're not going to be able to follow up with anything. So this does knock back some of the things that you can do with your teammate. As far as Maki, some of the main things they did is just increasing the knockback distance for some of her moves. They also made it where her basically automatic counter allows you to follow up and use different moves quicker. So I think this is a good thing for Maki. And then of course also with the combos, they reduced the damage with the level 1 and level 2 of her sword spin. As far as Toge, they did a lot of good balances for Toge. They tried to make Toge a lot better, and you can actually see it with his cursed speech. His stop move actually doesn't take as much of your throat meter, and it actually stuns them longer the closer you are, and you can actually get an ultimate confirmed out of this if you're not, wasting your throat meter. And they also made it whenever your throat meter is maxed out, you get your cursed energy faster, which is pretty cool. Just did some adjustments with his Frenzy Blast Away, also his Summer Axe Kick, and also with the Don't Move Get Twisted, they made it where this counter move where you can actually do the follow-up quicker so this combo doesn't get interrupted. As far as Panda, the main thing they did, a lot of his stuff had to do with Gorilla Mode. They basically made it where you can actually be in Gorilla Mode longer to be able to utilize this better, and they also increased the distance that he actually charges whenever you're doing some of his moves, and also the blowback distance. Gojo, they nerfed his blue somewhat. The blue can still be spammed, but you can't use it whenever somebody's getting up. So when somebody's getting up and they're in that vulnerable state, you're not going to be able to hit somebody with the blue. They also made his barrage attack not go as far, but they also knocked down the knockdown value, meaning you're going to be able to get longer combos out of this, but maybe you're not going to guide as good. So they actually did it where they made it where his teleportation isn't going to be as effective, but he's still an effective character. But I really like how they also increased the recovery frames from his reverse technique Red. So basically whenever they're shooting out Red, they're going to have a little bit more time where they're sitting there vulnerable, where you can actually maybe follow up and hit them. I don't think this is too crazy of a change, but it's enough to make things a little bit more balanced. As far as with Nanami, they made it where his ratio technique can be hit much easier, and you actually saw this in ranked matches with some people were using Nanami. He was doing some crazy damage, and they also did the same thing with his combo, the same thing they did with Itadori and Todo, where they reduced the damage from the final strike, especially when people are guarding. With Todo, they made it where basically if you're throwing the rock or if you're doing any of his moves, you can't go to the second stage if they're blocking. So if somebody's blocking and then you throw the stone wall at them, you're going to hit them with the rock, but you're not going to be able to follow up, and it's basically just leaving you more open. I don't really know why they did a nerf to Todo. I think he actually needed some help, because they nerfed, they nerfed his ability to throw the stone, and then they also messed up the fact with his combo technique because they balanced the damage from this. So I don't really know what they're thinking with Todo. I think Mahi Mahito got one of the biggest buffs and one of the craziest buffs. Now, of course, they did nerf his joint, making it where you're a little bit vulnerable for a little bit longer, but the thing with his drill is this thing now breaks guard, and it also has his idle transfiguration activate quicker. This is one of the best things with him now, that his idle transfiguration is almost always going to activate, especially whenever you do his extraction combo technique. It's going to allow you to basically get that damage twice if you actually combo it well, which is pretty good. And you definitely see this in his domain expansion, where almost every strike is basically killing down health. You don't even really need to use your curse techniques whenever you activate Mahito's domain expansion, because he's going to be able to deal pretty good damage just from his idle transfiguration. As far as with Jogo, basically what they did, they just basically increased the damage of the meteor whenever you're actually in the domain expansion, and they also reduced the damage of it though whenever you're not in the domain expansion. They also did some tuning to the cursed energy flaming shot, basically making it where it's going to blow people back farther in domain expansion, and it also did it where it damages the guard more. These are all things with his domain expansion, mainly with Jogo, just balances and stuff to things like that. As far as with Hanami, they made it where his wooden ball is going to track better when it's not hitting objects and make it actually get to enemies. And they also did something with his tree root, which is his second curse technique, basically making it where it's going to be less damage, which I think is pretty needed because people are baiting you in and getting crazy damage with this. And they also made it where he can actually summon his trees quicker, so this is pretty good, where he's going to be able to summon his trees, move around, and then maybe pop another one out. You're not stuck there as long. Eso and Ketsuzu didn't really get anything. Basically, it was just a little glitch where I'm guessing whenever Ketsuzu was supposed to do a stumble, or whenever he was supposed to get knocked back hard, he would stumble instead of getting a hard knockdown. With Sukuna, they hit him with some buffs and some nerfs. Basically, his health is reduced, but they made it where his reverse curse technique gets a higher percentage of health back to kind of combat that. They also made it where the intimidation doesn't last as long, so you don't have to worry about maybe getting hit with the strike and then getting hit with a Fuga or getting slashed. The intimidation is a little bit better now, but they did do something that I don't really like, what they did with the axe kick. If you follow up and press the additional input with the axe kick, you can get free damage. I mean, you do use some of your curse energy, but I don't really like that they just made this so easy to combo when he already has the slash and the Fuga. They also did some adjusting to the hammer, making it easy to hit, and they also nerfed the damage of the dismantle, making it where it's not as much with the last two strikes, and they also increased the recovery frames for Sukuna's Fuga, where you're going to be a little bit more vulnerable. I didn't see the damage change too much with the slash, especially if you get hit with the combo from the beginning, but I did see a difference if you run in late, because a lot of people run into this move late. If you run into it late, it's not going to hurt you as much, and I had this happen, and I think this was actually a pretty good change. Yuta, they basically did some things with both his Y and triangle techniques, basically allowing him to move quicker, and he also goes a lot farther with his slash. It's kind of crazy how far he goes, but they still dropped the ball with this one, where you can't really connect these with the rest of your combos and finish off your auto. I still think Yuta has some of the worst combos in this game when it comes to actually finishing off and getting damage, because you fall out of so many of his things. I think with the next update, they need to increase it where he can maybe make his combos go longer, similar to what they did to Megami. But for now, I think Yuta is still an L in this game. And then the last one is going to be Geto. Basically what they did, there's a glitch where basically his curse techniques and his curse spirits were disappearing whenever they were going into other attacks. They basically made it where these things aren't going to disappear, and you're actually going to be able to get the damage fully from your combos when you're using your curse spirit manipulation. And they also decreased the shooting interval of the light move, where you can really spam it really fast right now, which is pretty crazy, which I don't really know if they needed to buff this one, but hey, I'll take it. But those are basically all the changes that they made with the new patch. Like I said, me personally, I think of course Megami and Toge got, some really good buffs with this update, but I think Mahito is really viable as a character now, and I'm really gonna have to hop back in with my boy Mahito now, especially with the damage that you do whenever you're in the domain expansion. But let me know in the comments who y'all think got one of the best buffs from this update, man, and make sure y'all stay tuned for some of my later videos. We're gonna be covering the hidden inventory and also the free characters, man, so make sure y'all are ready for those reviews. Like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell, do all those nice things, and I'll actually put a video for y'all at the end of it where you can actually see my guide that I give you to get from a grade 4 to a special grade sorcerer. But I'm gonna see y'all on the next one, man. Yep.